Welcome to IBM Think 2026. Please welcome Director of Research and IBM Fellow, Jay Gambetta.
Typically, at this session, we tell you about what's coming next. Not today. Today, I'm going to tell you about what we already have. Here's something that should bother you, or interest you. It interests me. After 70 years of advancing in computing, there are still fundamental questions about the physical world that we just can't answer. For example, we don't know how most molecules actually behave. We can write down the electronic Schrödinger equation, but the math is too hard to solve. We can model what happens inside a battery. We can't model what happens inside a battery because there are just too many variables. We can't predict how financial systems evolve under stress. In complex adaptive systems, we don't even know the equation. Sure, we have models for these that can run on classical supercomputers, but they can only approximate. They are not exact. Now, these aren't obscure academic problems. They are blocking us from finding new drugs, solving energy problems, or protecting us from financial crises. They are holding us back. About 100 years ago, we realized the universe runs on this crazy complex math called quantum mechanics. It's the operating system of the universe. So if you want to compute nature accurately, you need a computer that can run quantum math. As a fundamentally different way to compute than classical computing, quantum computing offers a path to solve some of the world's hardest problems. At IBM Research, our mission is to deliver this future of computing, and we're doing it by orchestrating breakthroughs in silicon, quantum, AI, and algorithms. Today, we manufacture quantum chips in a leading-edge semiconductor fab. We use 300mm wafer technology, the same standard as the world's most advanced silicon chips. 24/7 fab means more wafers, more complexity, faster. This means shortening learning cycles and accelerating the time to market. To me, speed is everything. Back in May the 4th, 2016, we knew quantum would matter, but only if people could use it. We put the first quantum computer on the cloud, the first one ever, so anyone with a laptop could run on it. Within a week, researchers at the University of Barcelona had published a paper using it. Work that used to take years now took days. In 2017, we predicted that quantum would be able to run quantum algorithms faster on quantum computers than on classical computers within 6 years. And to get there, we released Qiskit, the first quantum SDK. Our predictions were right. In 2023, with our partners at UC Berkeley, we showed quantum reaching 2,880 operations on 100 qubits. And the world followed. The gold standard became research at this scale. Looking ahead, in 2029, we'll deliver the first fault-tolerant quantum computer. This is a milestone in the industry recognized as quantum made real. But we knew it would be real before that. And today I'm telling you, useful quantum computing is here right now. Richard Feynman imagined a world of quantum computers, not just modeling nature, but actually also helping us entirely form new forms of matter. In March of this year, this happened. scientists created a molecule in the shape of a never-existed-before half Mobius, and they used our quantum computer to decode its electronic structure. On the far left is an STM image of the molecule's electron cloud. On the right are quantum simulations of the same thing run on 72 qubits and 100 qubits. They match. Quantum computing didn't just validate a toy problem, it interpreted real experimental data. This didn't happen just because of a great algorithm, which we had. It didn't happen just because we improved our hardware, which we did. It happened because a new architecture, one that brings classical and quantum together, emerged. We call it quantum-centric supercomputing. And to tell you where it's going, here's our CTO of quantum-centric supercomputing, Jerry Chow.
All right, thanks for having me, Jay. Back in 2023, we announced that we were at a turning point where we'd start making quantum-centric supercomputing real. It turns out we were right. And today, I'd like to show you where we are. Quantum-centric supercomputing brings together three kinds of chips: CPUs, GPUs, and now quantum processors, QPUs. Each handles the part of a problem it's best at. Together, they solve things none of them could solve alone. Here's one example, an algorithm called SQD. To understand how a molecule behaves, you need to find its lowest energy state. The quantum computer generates the inputs, the classical computer reveals an answer. Run it again and again until you have the most accurate answer. Now look at what this is doing. Cleveland Clinic is advancing healthcare with quantum computing, which will revolutionize research in drug discovery, personalized treatments, and clinical trials. Work that's being supported by the IBM Quantum System 1 installed at Cleveland Clinic's main campus, the world's first on-premises quantum computer dedicated solely to healthcare research. Now, in 2024, Cleveland Clinic started using SQD, and they simulated a molecule with just 10 atoms. Then 36, and then last December, 303 atoms, a real protein. And now over 11,000 atoms to over 12,000 atoms. These are real proteins binding to molecules they interact with in nature, immersed in water. We're now at the point where SQD is performing at the level of the most powerful classical supercomputing methods. But really the difference is the scale. Where classical methods are struggling and will fail, quantum is just getting started. Now let's focus in on this record-breaking achievement. Not only was this the largest quantum-centric simulation to date of a protein-ligand complex, but the team actually achieved a 210 times accuracy improvement over previous state-of-the-art quantum-centric approaches. This is quantum becoming a useful tool for drug discovery. Now you'll hear more from Cleveland Clinic in a moment. Let's turn to energy. Up until recently, fusion energy was the stuff of science fiction. The promise of fusion energy is now driving science forward. Now, fusion reactors actually need a fuel called tritium. The problem? Only a few pounds are generated per year on Earth. So here's the idea. Inside a fusion reactor, you line the walls with a molten salt, a mixture of fluorine, lithium, and beryllium, or FLIBE. The molten salt captures neutrons. Neutrons turn lithium into tritium, and you extract tritium and use it as a fuel for fusion reactions. But getting the chemistry right is hard. The molten salt mixture has completely different chemistry than proteins, but it's also still hard to study classically with high accuracy. And so that's why we're working with Oak Ridge National Laboratory and the Department of Energy's Genesis mission partners to optimize tritium extraction using quantum-centric supercomputing methods. In the workflow, AI actually helps select fragments, in this case 10 fragments of FLIBE for study, 200 atoms each, out of which 21 nearby atoms were extracted to calculate the free energy. The quantum-centric method yielded calculations with a high level of precision that agreed with leading classical methods without relying on crude approximations. So what we have here is a path to computing chemically and physically relevant quantities that are measurable in the lab. You'll also hear from Oak Ridge in a moment. So how do we scale this? Today, quantum and classical computers work side by side. They pass results back and forth, and that works, but it's limited. To go further, they need to be tightly integrated. One system, one workflow. Last year, we connected our IBM Quantum System 2 to the supercomputer Fugaku in Japan, running a closed-loop workload using every one of its 152,000 classical nodes. And with Oak Ridge and AMD, we made one part of a quantum workflow 300 times faster by porting code from CPUs onto GPUs. But we need to keep going. Tighter integration, better error correction, quantum hardware, classical hardware, and the scientific problems themselves all designed together. And what's that look like? Well, quantum computers don't run on binary code. They run on the language of circuits. So we need new software from the ground up, software that splits a problem into its quantum and classical parts and runs each where it belongs. Add to that new middleware, new workflow managers, and new infrastructure to scale all of it. And here's our blueprint. This is a diagram grounded in real workflows, workflows that are being powered by our clients. And to speak with our clients on their breakthroughs, I'd like to invite Dr. Jamie Garcia, Director of Strategic Growth and Quantum Partnerships at IBM.
Thank you. All right, thank you, and hello, everyone. You've seen the technology, but it's our clients and our partners who turn it into something real. Over 170 universities, more than 70 industry clients, over 70 startups and commercial partners, the largest quantum ecosystem in the world. We've deployed over 90 quantum systems in total. We have 7 quantum computers installed at client sites today: Tokyo, Cleveland Clinic, Pink, RPI, Yonsei, Riken, Basque. 2 more coming this year, Chicago and India. Don't take my word for the incredible things our clients are doing. Let's hear from them. First, Dr. Kenny Mers from Cleveland Clinic.
Hey, Jamie, how's it going?
Hi, it's going well. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's such a blessing. I'm so grateful to be here to talk to everybody today about what we've been doing.
Great, yeah, we'd love to hear more about what you're doing at Cleveland Clinic.
Sure, that's fine. But let me just roll back a little bit and just thank my team. You know, I'm sort of speaking for my overall team. So my team at Cleveland Clinic, the amazing partners at IBM. Without your help, we wouldn't have gotten as far as we have. And also, I want to shout out to Riken for providing so much computer support. So I arrived at Cleveland Clinic maybe about 3 years ago, and initially we started thinking about doing simple calculations, which I thought were simple, like methane dimer, water dimer. And why would we want to do that? Because we want to look at dispersion interactions and hydrogen bonding, which is really important in drug discovery. Yeah. So we initially tried using VQE, and it was a little bit of a struggle, I'll be honest, right? But we got this email, and IBM Research was like, hey, Kenny, would your team want to speak to us Friday at like 4 o'clock, something like that? And we were like, yeah, sure. We have some new technology you might be interested. And believe it or not, they described to us what you've already heard about, SQD, substrate quantum diagonalization. And by the end of that conversation, we were like, that's the way to go. We're just going to drop VQE. And Monday, we shipped it completely to SQD type calculations. And very quickly, we were able to do that methane dimer problem and the water dimer problem using SQD. And so that's been published. Now, Jimmy, biological molecules behave in what medium?
I think water.
Water, yeah, good one. So we also, it's not shown in this slide, but we actually did some calculations using SQD where we included water in an implicit way, not explicitly, where you had sort of a continuum dielectric representing the water molecule. So we were able to do that. And then at the same time, we were thinking about how we could do linear scaling type calculations. So I had done linear scaling calculations some years ago where you would take, say, a protein with 100 amino acids, and you would take each amino acid and do the quantum calculation and then reassemble it. But we wanted to do that within the quantum framework because we knew that we could do individual atoms very readily on quantum hardware. So we needed to come up with a method that would work really effectively in this kind of paradigm. And we discovered a method called embedded wave function theory. And this allowed us, to good accuracy in test cases, to just go atom by atom. So in the example here, cyclohexane, we could go atom by atom, do the individual quantum calculations. That means we did 12 quantum calculations, and then we're able to assemble that back to then get a good estimate of the electronic energy, as good as classical methods. So we were sort of emboldened by that, and I thought, well, gee, maybe we could really, take a more challenging problem. And so we went after this trip cage. So trip cage is one of the smallest known folding proteins. And I had a colleague that actually had done simulations on it. So we obtained from Carlos Simmerling the folded and unfolded state of this protein. And using the same methodology, so it's SQD, EWF, embedded wave function theory, we were able to break that 300 atom molecule into 300 individual fragments. So we run 300 individual calculations on quantum hardware, then bring it back, reassemble, and then estimate the energy of the system. And it worked, again, extremely well. We got results that matched previous calculations or classical calculations quite well. So based on that success, one of my goals had always been coming to Cleveland Clinic was to do a protein in water. And I thought maybe it would take like 5 years. But we decided in collaboration with Riken and IBM to go after some real protein systems. So we picked two. One is T4 lysozyme, and we picked that because it binds butylbenzene, and it really represents hydrophobic interactions. So if you think about Lipitor, all these compounds, they actually have hydrophobic interactions with the protein. The second one, the trypsin benzamidine, is hydrogen bonding and electrostatic interactions. And we chose that because it gave that other end of the spectrum. And using this, in this case, we were using a more advanced EWF and SQD. We were using something called trim SQD. So through this whole project, we were using more and more advanced SQD methods. And again, we're able to actually do these calculations. And the article just came on archived yesterday. So
awesome. Well, congratulations on that. It seems like it's going to have a really big impact on the field.
Yeah. What I really like about it is its scalability. So we can do things like Five, you'll hear about in a minute, was done using the same kind of strategy. Yeah. And I'll just leave you with one comment, right? Yeah. So we did this, and we thought we were really going big, but we quickly realized we could have been 2 or 3 times larger. Oh, wow. So we could have done even more atoms.
Could have gone bigger. All right. Well, thank you, Kenny.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie.
All right. Now let's hear from Dr. Sarp Oral from Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Hi, Sarp. All right. We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, great. Can you tell us a little bit more about the work you're doing at Oak Ridge?
Sure. Oak Ridge National Laboratory is the largest open science laboratory in the DOE National Lab ecosystem. we run some of the largest instruments that DOE has, like the Frontier supercomputer or the Spallochian neutron scattering beamline. I'm leading the advanced technologies section at Oak Ridge, and our charge is to push the frontiers of large-scale DOE supercomputing for the next decade. One of our main trust areas is large-scale system architecture. We are trying to build larger and more capable systems, and we want to do this cost effectively. Not only the procurement cost, but the energy consumption cost as well. Therefore, the next generation accelerators are a particular interest to us. This is beyond the CPUs and GPUs. That's where the quantum computing comes in. We have deployed 2 testbeds within the last year, quantum computing testbeds, and particularly we are interested in quantum computing accelerated, augmented high-performance computing, and high-performance computing-driven fault-tolerant quantum computing.
Okay.
That's where IBM comes in.
Yeah, awesome. So Jerry mentioned earlier one of the workflows that you created for applications in Fusion. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm quite excited about that work. 2 other pieces of work that I haven't mentioned is working on AI and working on data, which all 3 together comes to the fruition in this workflow. What we are trying to build in this workflow is to bring together different computing paradigms, HPC, AI, and quantum, to take us a step closer to realizing the clean, limitless, and secure energy future that we all strive for. So this workflow uses HPC computing for traditional neutronics calculation, uses AI for candidate selection by increasing that 100 times faster, and quantum computing for calculating better accuracy and faster quantum chemistry. And this is all driven by an AI agentic workflow. So all these pieces come together that you see on the slide is part of the workflow.
That's amazing. How do you think, I'm curious about what kind of teams it takes to do work like this. Like, how do you think developing an ecosystem helps with achieving these results?
So it takes a village.
Yeah.
This is a grand challenge problem. And we are approaching this problem as a template. This is far more complex than any institute can solve on their own. So we have 11 DOE labs, 4 academic partners, and 3 industrial partners came together to execute this workflow. This includes Cleveland Clinic, as you heard, which graciously donated their time and expertise, and IBM, who partnered with us on this journey. This is quite exciting, actually.
No, it's really exciting. It seems like this approach will have a huge impact on the field. I wanted to hear just a little bit about what your perspective is on the Project Genesis work that is being driven out of that.
Absolutely. Yes, just like you said, this workflow is a template that we hope not only drives the fusion energy, but also will let us to apply the same template to different scientific problems, like drug discovery, like climate, and so on and so forth. So that is the true nature of Genesis' mission, actually, to build a new scientific instrument, to build a new scientific capability in close collaboration with industry, in close collaboration with academia. This workflow that Jerry has mentioned is the exact epitome of what the Genesis mission truly is.
Well, that's great. Can't wait to see what comes. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, you've heard from 2 members of the scientific community. Now let's hear how quantum is reaching enterprises from one of our startup partners, Michael Bierchik of Q Control. Hi, Michael, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I heard about some exciting results that you might have just obtained. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, we're absolutely thrilled to share some really, really big news with all of you today. Now, but before I get into it, let me ask a question of the audience. Who here is really excited about this session because of the science? You love the science and the technology of quantum computing. Great. And how many of you are really, really enthusiastic about the business impact of quantum for you and all the other sectors here? Well, fortunately, I have something for both of you, so everybody gets to go away happy. To understand what we were announcing earlier today, let me give you a little background on the business. Q-Control is focused on how software makes quantum hardware more useful. Now, we've been a partner with IBM going back all the way to the inaugural class in 2018 of the IBM Startup Network in the quantum area. We were the first company in the world to ever integrate our software with a major quantum cloud platform. That was IBM in 2023. We were the first Qiskit functions provider. And our focus has always been, how does software make the hardware better? Dealing with this problem that I know all of you have heard about, errors, the hardware failures that limit what we can achieve. We don't make the algorithms, we make it possible to run the algorithms better. Now, that word is really important because the beautiful demonstrations you've heard from Oak Ridge and from Cleveland Clinic have been about a different word. They've been about a word, useful. I want to go one more, better. In 2024, Jay challenged the community, saying that he believed it was possible to achieve quantum advantage, where a quantum computer was better than the alternatives, in 2026. It's 2026. And this morning, just after midnight, we announced that Q-Control and IBM together have achieved practical quantum advantage on a real problem with real business value.
That's amazing. Okay, this sounds really cool. What do you mean by practical quantum advantage?
Well, I think many people in the audience have heard this term, the holy grail, quantum advantage. What does it really mean? Well, we have a very specific definition. We don't want to focus on the theoretical possibilities of what you could in principle do. We wanted to focus on what you can do now. If you're a customer solving hard problems, you don't really care so much about what you could maybe do. You want to know what you can do today. So practical quantum advantage refers to the idea that we're going to solve a real problem, not a test problem. Not a problem designed to test quantum computers, a problem that people pay money to solve today. For us, it's a problem in material science. We had to show that it gave us the right answer. So we compared against the best approximate tools that we have. And the exciting thing is we showed it was better. It was faster, and not just a little bit faster. Comparing the IBM quantum computer running our infrastructure software, we pushed this problem so far to 120 qubits, about 10,000 two-qubit operations. So far that emulating that with a classical computer took over 100 hours on a cluster. 2 minutes versus 100 hours. That's a 3,000 times speed up owing to access to quantum computers.
It's an amazing result. How did you do it?
It's all about unlocking this latent performance inside the machines. IBM Quantum Platform is really incredible for lots and lots of reasons, from the hardware to the uptime that everybody can achieve with it. But we focused exclusively on ensuring that everything we did was replicable by everybody in the audience. No special behind-the-scenes access, no hero experiment status. You had to run it through IBM Cloud. It had to work. And we're extremely excited that the package we've built to unleash this performance and give rise to these extraordinary results in a material science problem for energy, they are becoming released as a new Qiskit function a little bit later in the year. So anybody here can do exactly the same calculation and then expand into even more exciting things.
Awesome. So what are the key advantages in this last couple of seconds?
Faster isn't good, and 3,000 times faster isn't enough. It's really about what else we can do. We started with problems where we knew what the answers were, and we showed that the quantum computers were faster at achieving them. Next is exploring regimes of physics for materials, for energy transmission, for battery design, where we've never, ever been able to solve these problems before. That's what's so exciting.
Awesome. Wow. Well, what a way to end. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you very much.
It's really exciting to see the progress that these clients and partners are driving with Quantum. So yes, thank you to Michael, and now I'm going to hand it back to Jay.
Thank you. As I said before, useful quantum computing is real right now. And we're seeing it in interesting work coming from our clients and partners, not only from those on stage today, but also from others in our ecosystem. We are seeing runtime reductions up to a factor of 80, quantum heuristics that are getting trustworthy, hybrid methods with improved accuracy, and to be honest, we're just getting started. This momentum is the result of a decade of quantum being online. In 2016, we made the decision no one had made before. We put a quantum computer on the cloud, we shared it with the world, and what followed was amazing. Take a look.
We knew this technology would change everything. The question was simple. Keep it closed or share it. We chose to share, and we chose now. May 4th, 2016, 5 qubits on the cloud, and the world responded. 2017, Qiskit, first quantum SDK. Same question, same answer. Open, now, and the world responded. 2020, a roadmap of all our technical plans for the next 5 years. We shared that too, immediately, and the world responded. 2021, the Eagle processor breaks the 100-qubit barrier. 2023, quantum overtakes classical. 2024, a new path to error correction at scale. We upgrade our fleet to 100+ qubits. All of it shared the moment it was available. 2025, Qiskit functions expand. The flywheel begins. Ideas compound, algorithms evolve, ecosystems emerge. 2026, 10 years on, quantum on the cloud becomes quantum in the world. Our quantum computers are used for scientific discovery, new molecules, new understanding, and soon, so much more. This is no longer a question. We have the future of computing, and it's happening now. This isn't a technology story, it's a story of human collaboration at scale. Move fast, share early, do it now. We believe the future is built in the now. Every breakthrough, every discovery, every meaningful change started with someone deciding not to wait.
The breakthroughs are real. Our roadmap ahead is clear. I'm really, really excited, and I really think you should be too. And on that, I want to thank you.
Silence,